After 2 months of living with Thomas Parker, Sophie thought their relationship was stronger than ever. They had plans for the future, dreams they were building together. But one fateful day, when she discovers she's pregnant, her world is shattered. Thomas is by the side of his first love, Amelia, who is also expecting. Torn between her love for him and the undeniable betrayal, Sophie finds herself trapped in a painful web of love, lies, and heartbreak. Can she forgive Thomas? Or is this the beginning of the end? After living with Thomas Parker for 2 months, I found out I was pregnant. The pregnancy test in my hand confirmed what I had begun to suspect. My heart raced, a mixture of excitement and anxiety. I wanted to call Thomas, to tell him the news, but he wasn't answering his phone. When I finally tracked him down, my excitement turned to devastation. I saw him in front of the women's clinic, holding the hand of his first love, Amelia. They were walking out of the gynecology department together, their faces soft with the quiet intimacy of shared concern. I froze, my stomach twisting into knots. Amelia clutched her belly, wincing in pain. "Thomas, it hurts," she whispered. He immediately reached for her hand, his attention entirely on her. He turned toward me and, for a moment, a flicker of panic crossed his face. "Sophie," he said, guilt filling his voice, "wait for me, okay? I'll get Amelia settled, and then I'll come find you." I clutched the pregnancy test tighter, feeling like I'd been punched in the chest. He had told me he had something important to take care of today. That important thing was accompanying Amelia to her prenatal appointment. My legs felt weak as I turned away, retreating from the clinic. The walk home was a blur of confusion and hurt. How had I missed the signs? When I got back to our apartment, I collapsed onto the couch, staring at the framed photo of us on the wall, laughing, happy, in love. It now seemed like a mockery of everything I thought we had. Thomas and I met during our senior year of college. He was persistent in his pursuit, charming in a way that made me feel special. After months of him chasing me, I finally gave in, and our friends all cheered us on. "You'll be so happy with him," they said. He had promised me the world, holding me in his arms and saying, "Sophie, I'll make you the happiest woman alive. We'll get married right after graduation." I believed him. I loved him. After college, Thomas wanted to start his own business, and I supported him. Our wedding plans were postponed, but I didn't mind. We were building something together, both a future and a career. He won over my parents with his kindness and work ethic, and soon, they too were looking forward to our marriage. Thomas was attentive, sending money to both his parents and mine every month. The rest of his earnings, he gave to me, saying we were saving for our future, our house, our wedding, our life together. But all of that felt so distant now, as if it was never real to begin with. I felt bile rise in my throat as the reality of the situation hit me harder. I barely made it to the bathroom before retching. The thought of Thomas, the man I loved, being so intimately involved with Amelia, his first love, made me feel sick. An hour later, Thomas came home, looking worried. He found me in the bathroom, still pale from the nausea. "Sophie, are you okay?" His voice was gentle, his hand rubbing soothing circles on my back. "What's wrong? What's wrong?" I snapped, the anger bubbling up inside me. "I saw you with Amelia. What's going on, Thomas? Why didn't you tell me?" He sighed deeply, rubbing the back of his neck. "Sophie, it's not what you think. Amelia's been through a lot. She's divorced, and she's over 4 months pregnant. She doesn't have anyone else. I was just helping her with her checkup." "And what about me?" I asked, my voice cracking. "I'm pregnant too, Thomas." His eyes widened, surprise and confusion flickering across his face. He reached for me, but I stepped back. "Sophie, I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. Amelia, she doesn't have anyone." I was trying to do the right thing. I could feel the tears welling up again. "And what about us? What about our future? How am I supposed to trust you when you're still so involved with her?" He sighed, looking defeated. "I'll stop seeing her if that's what you want. I swear, I'll block her number, delete her from my life. Just don't hate me, Sophie, please." For a moment, his words softened me. He looked genuinely remorseful, but the betrayal was still too fresh, too raw. "I need time," I whispered, brushing past him as I made my way to the bedroom. The next day at work, things got worse. As I settled into my desk, trying to distract myself from the chaos of the previous day, the HR manager walked in with a new hire. It was Amelia. "Everyone, this is Amelia Rhodes," the HR manager announced. "She'll be assisting Mr. Parker's office." I felt my heart drop. Amelia smiled sweetly as she introduced herself to the team. When she approached my desk, her eyes flashed with something I could only describe as smugness. "Hi, Sophie," she said, extending her hand again, looking forward to working together. I barely glanced at her. "We're not working together," I said, my voice icy. "I'm a project manager. You, serve coffee. Her smile faltered, but she quickly recovered, her expression softening into that pitiful, helpless look that had likely drawn Thomas back to her in the first place. She looked toward the office door, just as Thomas stepped out, frowning when he saw the tension between us. "Sophie, can I see you in my office?" he asked. I followed him in, the air between us thick with unspoken words. The moment the door closed, he turned to me. "What was that about? I told you I'd handle things with Amelia. Why are you being so cold to her?" My patience snapped. "Thomas, you promised me. You said you'd stop seeing her, and now she's working for you? How am I supposed to believe anything you say?" He frowned, running a hand through his hair. "I didn't plan this. HR hired her. I didn't know. Look, Sophie, you've changed. You used to trust me. You were kind, understanding. What happened? What happened? You're still protecting her, Thomas. You're still putting her needs above mine." His face softened, and he reached for me again, but I stepped back. "Sophie, please. You're the one I love. Let's get married, okay? Forget about all of this. We'll be a family." But his words felt hollow, like a promise already broken. As I turned to leave the office, I could feel the weight of his gaze on me, but I kept walking. When I stepped out, Amelia was there, holding a cup of coffee, her smile triumphant. "You see, Sophie," she whispered as I passed, "first loves never truly go away." I didn't answer her. I couldn't. The anger and betrayal welled up inside me, and I felt my vision blur. The last thing I heard was the sound of Thomas's voice calling my name as the world went dark. When I woke up, I was in the hospital. Thomas was beside me, his face pale with worry. "Sophie," he whispered, his voice trembling. "Please, don't leave me." But as I looked into his eyes, I realized the man I loved was already gone.
Search 125918 on Novel Short to read book for free.